am Negan.
I am Negan.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of I Am Negan, a TWD Universe podcast. My name is Adam Vale. I'm an editor over at the Koalition with a K, Koalition.com. Tonight, I'm joined by editor-in-chief of the Koalition, Richard Bailey Jr. What's up, Rich?
What's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
And Throwdown's own Carlos Romero, live from Brooklyn. What up?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
What's going on is this is it, people. This is it. This is season 11, episode 16. This is the final episode for the second mid-tier break. There's 3 tiers of this. This is the second one, and it's done. So, real quick, if you have not seen this episode, you can go to AMC Plus. You can watch it there now. If not, you can just wait till Sunday. It'll air, and then you come back and hear what we have to say about it, because we got some stuff to say. At least I do. No, I'm a little upset. So, that is it. If you don't know, we do a discussion. We do pretty much a spoiler on this. So, like I said, if you didn't watch it, go watch it now. Thanks again for everybody that has been supporting. We've getting a lot of follows, and that's always good. You know, to me, it just means that people like The Walking Dead. That's it. That's all I care about. You like The Walking Dead, I like The Walking Dead. Good or bad, it's just fun to watch. This is it. It's been around forever. Now 11 years, and if you count the comics, I mean, this has been a big part of my life, over a decade. So I'm enjoying it. I take the good with the bad, and there's a lot of bad in this one. This episode, boy. Woo. All right, so real quick, that's it. 3, 2, 1, beep. This pissed me off. And I'll start off right with the main reason why it upset me. And it's what they're doing to Negan. They are gimping the character to a whole new low. This version of Negan is not even I'm not even comparing it to the comics. Just from the Negan that we were introduced a few seasons back when he first popped up, and then all the way even from the last season. Since he's come out of the jail cell that they put him in, he's been a different person slowly. Little bits here and there, but still being Negan. But now, we find him in a hole? Hiding? What is this? And he's like, oh yeah, okay, you know, whatever you want to do, Maggie, I'll watch your boy. And that scene just got me so upset. That's not the role that I want to see Negan being played in this series. Going forward, this is horrible because I don't see him the same anymore now, and I don't want them to dilute him to the point that he's just a casual character in the background. And that's the way I felt they were trying to portray him in this. Like, he's Negan in name, but not in character. Did you know what I mean? Like, this definitely did not feel like the Negan of old. And I get it. He has to evolve, he has to change, he's got a new wife, baby on the way, blah, blah, blah. But he still should throw some of the one-liners, do something to show us that you were still the same Negan. But, you know, you have a soft side as well. And I don't even get that. Man, that just got me. What do you got to say about that, Carlos? Like, it's that... Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we're going to sort of get him, you know. It's like, oh, he's coming back, like he offered Maggie his help and everything. And I'm like, oh, you know, they're gonna get together and the rest of the squad is gonna take care of Herschel, and you know, gonna get business, you know. But it didn't happen, and he
becomes a babysitter. That's it. It's like, oh no,
yeah.
You're gonna go watch Maggie. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. All right, well, that's it. And that's what upset me, because it's like, why? What is this? This is it. This is the Maggie show now. This is all about Maggie. It's all about her doing everything. She is definitely filling the role of Rick. Fine. But come on now. Even Negan is a major character. He's a strong character.
I feel, you know, we obviously have that bias towards Negan.
Obviously,
you know,
yeah.
But you know, and we don't expect him to be the main character of the show, but you know, he's one of the pivotal characters. He's up there with, you know, Aaron and Father Gabriel and stuff. Maybe not to the Daryl level, but he's a big character. There's a reason why you keep Jeffrey Dean Morgan for this long, you know, considering everything that's gone with his character in the show and all the bats. He was a villain, and and it sucks that we can't see. He's obviously going to be a dad. He's a changed man and everything, but there's always supposed to be that that person within yourself. That Negan that we know, that there is that cutthroat guy within him, and we still haven't seen that. After this whole thing, and I kind of, I'm with you. I kind of wanted to see that in this episode.
Yeah, I was hoping he would jump in and be like, all right, no, I got a plan. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Nothing. It's just like, she's taking the lead, fine, but he should at least be a strong second, and he's not. He's not. He's just, all right, I'll just stay in the back and I'll watch my family do it. I have somebody else. There's plenty of other people. What happened to the whole other group that he saved? Because when they open up that hole where they're hiding, when Lydia was like, once Maggie and her crew go to Lydia, and she's like, oh yeah, they're over here. And she pulls up and I see them all hiding in a hole. I'm like, what is this? Why? What? That, oh man, that just upset me so much. That's not the Negan of old. That's not the Negan that should be portrayed here. No. And then the worst is that this episode, and we saw from the teaser, was going to focus heavily on Maggie and Leah. But then, again, AMC sort of just gimping themselves at the knee with all of this. They spilled the beans already of the future plans with the spin-off with Isle of the Dead, with Maggie and Negan doing their thing. So we already know she's not going to die. So if this whole hype up for this second tier finale was to see, what's going to happen during the fight, we already know what's going to happen in that fight. We already know. So I was hoping there would be something else as a surprise, and there was no surprise. Go ahead, Rich.
And let me just make this comment right now. I'm surprised that you and Carlos was angry most about the Negan portrayal, because what you just said is what angered me the most. Because you already know that these characters survive. Why should I even bother watching the remaining episodes of the season? And it's okay if AMC needed to let their investors know this is what our future plan is for The Walking Dead, but they should not have let the fans know this early that these are the spin-off shows that we have coming, because it suspends all disbelief that anything is going to happen to Carol, Daryl, Negan, and Maggie. And I'm sure there will be another spin-off announced well before the season is over, so that they can let you spill other details on who else survives.
Yeah, that is the worst. That is the worst. And it's that, and even this, because I mean, we see some backlash, not so much on our channel, but I've seen some others where people are like, oh, why are you spoiling it? Why are you talking about it? It's like, no, AMC decides to release these episodes a full week early on their service. So they're doing this with all their shows. So they're releasing this early, then they're spilling the beans on all the spin-offs before this is even done. At least wait till this is done. So then that way, like you said, people can tune in, watch, and say, oh, wow, is something going to happen to Negan? Is something going to happen to Maggie? It is the final season, so anything is possible. No. Now we know they're doing something else, and it's not a prequel. Because we definitely know it's not a prequel, because they didn't know each other before. She was out on the farm. So it's not like, oh, well, there was some time. No. Even if you were to go back for that 6 months where she went off doing her own thing with that other community, Negan was not a part of that. So this is definitely going to be something in the future, which tells us that they survive. So when they kept building up when we saw for the teaser for this episode, and it was like, oh, Leah and Maggie, and what's going to happen, the showdown, I was assuming something big is going to happen, that somebody else is going to get hurt, or we're going to see some people fall off, whether it's Father Gabriel or Aaron, or even when they sort of hinted, which I really didn't think anything that was going to happen with Hornsby. Remember with the scene of blood on his face, like, oh no, nothing. It didn't. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, somebody did get killed. A random person helping out Maggie.
Yeah. Whoopi. Yeah.
A random side character. That I don't even remember that character from previous episodes, so I don't know why I should care about him now.
Yeah, I didn't know his name either.
No. Jabroni number 4. That's it. That's all that matters right now, because it's well, and that's what I'm saying. There are so many different directions that they could have gone with this episode, and they didn't. They focused just on this Maggie Leah. And we already knew the outcome of that just from the trailers. And then there was a lot of build-up, a lot of setup. Still going with the Eugene, who's getting more action than anyone on this series. Already, he had the imposter of Max, and he got Max. He's like, when we see his scene, he's in bed. He's like, yeah, he's the one macking it right now on this show. And where's... yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to ask a quick question. I know we're not going in any particular order, but I have to ask this question because I'm curious if y'all was annoyed about this as well. In regards to the storyline of what's happening at the Commonwealth, where the hell was Mercer and Princess in this episode? Because the entire episode, I was thinking, oh, something's probably going to happen to Max because she is doing all this stuff behind the governor's back. And yet, I also imagine that if something did happen, Mercer should show up and save the day. But this guy was nowhere to be found on this episode with Princess. So I guess they were busy getting it in this entire time all this stuff was happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's when it comes to that part, it was all more of a setup still. They're still talking about it. They have the newspaper, Connie and everyone are like, all right, now we have to strategize. How are we going to word this? And we need Max, you need to go undercover, get some documents. Then Sebastian all of a sudden shows up. It was like a lot of filler. That's what it felt like to me. Because I was like, this isn't necessary. We don't need this. We know nothing's going to happen. And sure enough, nothing did happen. It just didn't go anywhere. It just felt like a lot of filler. And I was hoping more would pop off, that we would have really seen what was happening. Maybe just something with the rebel group. We didn't even see that. Something going on with the resistance, an uprising or something. No, didn't make sense. And again, with this whole thing with Hornsby and the group, we saw Leah take out the whole group that he had. All of a sudden, it's like they just sprout from the ground. He has a whole other set, a whole other unit of troopers from the Commonwealth. Where did they come from? He didn't call back. They don't have cell phones. They had the walkie-talkies, but there's only so much of a distance. And we know that they're at least a few days out from the Commonwealth. Because if that was the case, they could have always just, from Hilltop, walked over there. Like, oh, we can see you from the Hilltop. Dum-dum, we're on a hill. We could see that big compound you have over there, 50,000 strong. So it just didn't add up. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And then and then putting Leah into the fold. I'm like, oh yeah, now you work here, and here we're gonna give you this. And then they give her. She has a group with her, right? And at first I'm like, I paused it. I'm like, wait, is it Reapers? No, not Reapers. They just were able to find a whole black outfit for some of these soldiers to wear. And it just that didn't make sense. It's the disbelief. You're taking me out too many times in this episode out of what was supposed to be happening, where she took out a bunch of Hornsby's guys. Hornsby's like, listen, I need you. This is it. This is who I'm battling. Do you have an issue with her? Is it something? None of that. It's just like, boom, I'm going to hire you. Okay, yeah, I'll work for you. Whatever. Let's go.
And you see what you just said there, that goes to the issue with making that decision last week. Because in this episode, she decides, no, I have my own agenda. Oh, your people got killed? Well, that's not my problem. I have my own agenda. So the Hornsby character doesn't look too intelligent, deciding to work with her when you don't even trust or know anything about this person other than that this is the person that took your weapons.
Makes no sense, especially from what we saw, just how they did the whole setup of the spy versus spy type of thing when they set up the fake Max. They spent all that time to know more about the group, but yet here's this random Rambo-like character in the woods, and you hire that person to do everything for you. You don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you a job. Let's work together. Come on now. Clearly, she has all your guns. You don't even suspect, well, maybe she has a crew of people also hiding in the bushes to give the guns to. She can't use all those guns. Oh, man. Yeah, because there was that scene. And again, people were like, oh, well, they're all over. Yeah, we're all over. Because this is really upsetting. None of this was fluid. It didn't make sense. This was not a good episode. And it just frustrated me so much. Because this is not what I wanted. I wanted what we usually get, which is a good build-up. going into it because it's considered like a mid-season break, right? Usually mid-season break, something happens, someone dies, or they're in some horrible predicament, like almost like in the back in the day, Batman. It's like, oh, how the Batman and Robin are going to get out of this one? Stay tuned. No, we didn't get any of that. We see, so even that fight, even the fight. So they get to the point where this is it. This is the big buildup of the episode, and it's the fight between Maggie and Leah, and they're fighting in the house, and Leah gets the upper hand, and she's in full mount, and she's just pulling some ground and pound, about to kill her, and we got Daryl to save the day, and he puts one in Leah's head, and drops her, and that's it. And that pissed me off too. What? No looking at him, like no like I loved you, or nothing. I don't know. Throw some mystery in it. There was no doubt in my mind what he was gonna do. If they ever, there's no doubt. But man, throw some suspense, some what if moment.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't think about that. I was like, oh, Daryl's got to, you got to take her out because saving Maggie. But you forget that they had an extensive relationship. The reason why she's still here is because Daryl, kept her alive during that last part, and she was involved with the family thing, Reapers, or I forget what they're called.
The Reapers, yeah,
and all of that, and we didn't get an emotional payoff. I understand if he does it because they gotta leave because Hornsby is on the way and everything. I understand that, but there wasn't much, there wasn't much any like payoff or emotional payoff for anything else in the episode. So, go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, I didn't want to cut you off. I just was going to say I agree 100%, and I think to resolve that issue, Leah needed to kill somebody important to hit the home fact. That you made a mistake by not taking me out in the first place.
Rich, I disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
I disagree with Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
What?
I agree. I agree. For the most part, throughout the episode, but if Leah killed someone important and just ended up dying right away, it would have been a waste. Because Leah was with Daryl in the beginning in the cabin, and she was like some random person, and then she became part of the Reapers, fought them off, left, and came back like all random in the penultimate episode of this part of the mid-season finale, and now she's gonna kill someone important. She just got here.
Well, even semi-important. If you recall, earlier in the history of the Walking Dead shows, they did a great job of introducing like Tyrese and a few other characters where you would grow to just pull them in and feel like a connection with the character. It was like, oh wow, this is a great character, and then bam, they would just kill them off, and like, oh, I didn't see that coming. We don't get that anymore. We don't get any of that now. And it would have been great if they did something like that. We would have had some of the characters, like Aiden, for example. Aiden, who died from a bite and was left in that house. Remember, and Maggie shows up, who knows how much time later, and sees that he's turned already, and da-da-da. That would have been great if it was in this situation where he was alongside Maggie. Big fight, and then Leah kills him, and then is about to kill Maggie, and then Daryl runs in and tells her put the weapon down, and is like, no, you saw what she did. Because remember, they're both in the wrong at this point, because yes, she had the sharpshooter and the whole thing, but she also said that they were going to walk away, and it was Maggie who then just like, after what Elijah was screaming out, the whole thing of like, remember the group and all that, and then that's when Maggie went to town and started killing all the other members, and Leah went running for her life. So they're both in the wrong at this point.
And also, Maggie was tied down by, someone that was a professional. She was in the military. Leah was in the military.
Yeah.
She's captured the person that at this moment she hates the most. She despises the most. She wants to take revenge, and somehow she didn't tie her up properly.
Oh.
I understand if Maggie had a knife or someone threw something, to cut up the rope. She just untied the rope.
Yeah, it was messy.
So Leah was, to Rich's point, she was inconsequential. She was shoot in at the very end, at the very last two episodes, at the end of this episode, and and throughout this episode, and she didn't even do her job right.
Nope. She was a red herring. It
And
was
we didn't get the emotional payoff with Daryl. So what
nope.
the hell was the
Yeah,
point?
that's what I'm saying. That was it. Because it went nowhere. It went nowhere. I think she only had like not even a handful of lines from her return,
Well,
and that's what upset me. Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
well, perhaps to answer Carlos's question, perhaps you will see an emotional payoff if something happens to Connie.
Oh,
Now that they know
well,
she's the one
Rich,
that.
and Rich,
What's
and that's just for me.
There you go. Man, I don't even care about that whole that's another one that's dragging. I don't even care. I feel like this is too much already with the whole what's going to happen with Daryl when he was with Carol, is that ever going to be a thing? It didn't happen. I don't care. And then with the whole thing with Connie, I mean, it seemed like he cares. She was trapped in a hole. You thought she was dead. You find out she's alive. You finally see her. And that's when you grab in for the kiss and you do the whole thing. But like, man, I'm going to tell you how I really feel because I thought I lost you. No, none of that. Right at that point tells me, no, he doesn't see her in that way at all.
We already know what's going to happen with Daryl.
Oh yeah,
He's getting a spinoff show.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing that's upsetting because then there's, for the longest time when he was introduced, he was the wild card of the show because he's not in the comics and he played a major role. So anything could happen. He could either be the savior, he could be the one that turns on them, he could do anything. And here it is. We know that he definitely has a spinoff. And again, it's one of those, it's in the future, it's not in the past. So, yeah, we know he's in no danger at all. Then what? Then what do we have? The only ones that we have that we could even think that maybe something would happen is Killer Priest, Gabriel, and Aaron. Right? Who else? Who else? And that didn't even happen. Nothing happened. They're cool. Everything is fine.
Well, they're not killing off any of these spin-off characters. They're not killing off any of the kids.
No.
You know, so we know they're safe.
I thought Elijah was going to go in this one.
Elijah is reaching him. Lydia are reaching the Father Gabriel Aaron category. You know, and you know Rosita and them.
Uh-huh.
So those are the ones primed to die.
Elijah will have a reunion with his sister who was already got killed. So that's probably going to happen.
But we saw it. We saw that sort of when he was doing the Walker thing. Remember before the Midseason break, and he looked over and he saw her. So he had that reunion. He was walking next to her.
Oh yeah, you're
remember?
right. Okay.
She was in a Walker form, and he was about to like break out of the whole little character of the walk. And Maggie grabbed his hand. Remember, to keep him steady. He's like, no, just keep going with it because they were walking with the herd to get to the Reapers. Yo, go ahead.
Check this out. These are my definitive. They might die power rankings in the Walk into Final Season Part 3 Ultra Championship Edition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go from 5 to 1 to the most like from 5 the least likely, 1 most likely. Number 5 is Rosita. Rosita is you know she's a soldier. She's been in the show almost as long as anyone other than the initial characters.
But who raises her kid Coco?
Father Gabriel.
So he lives. All right, keep going with your rankings.
Number 4 is no, I need one more.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna skip 4. I'm gonna skip 4 and I'm gonna go with 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Number 3 is definitely Aaron.
Definitely Aaron. You see that?
Yes.
All right.
Is definitely Aaron. Aaron is, you know, he's had death vibes for the longest. He's doing he has a weapon as an arm, and you know, that's a death flag. That's number 3. Number 2 is Father Gabriel. He's the other side of the coin. You can't lose Rosita and Father Gabriel, so one of them has to go.
Mm.
And I have a feeling like it's going to be Father Gabriel. Number 4 was Elijah, by the way. I forgot about Elijah. So, but you know why he's there. Because you know, TV's racist. Number 2 was Father Gabriel. And number one, everyone's gonna agree with me on this one. This person is gonna die. He's gonna die because he's the only one that they have the cojones to get rid of in the show. And he might have some emotional impact just because every time we see this dude, he's always fucking smiling.
Oh, boy.
And that's Ezekiel.
Nope. All right. All right.
Ezekiel, he has his kingdom. He smiles, raising the livestock. The pet farm and the petting zoo and all that stuff.
See,
Well,
so go ahead, Rich.
Well, I think that list is pretty good. Although I will say two things. Number one, the way Father Gabriel inserted himself into this whole situation to try and help expose the Commonwealth. Yeah, I believe he shouldn't be getting involved with that. So somebody in that group definitely is going to get killed.
Yes.
And number two, I think that was a good pick as number one. But you're forgetting one other character, Carlos. That I feel as soon as this character returns, and because of how this season is going, AMC would be very dumb to do this. But hey, Rick Grimes, since Rick did not survive in the comics, so hey,
He did not.
that's
See,
still a possibility.
all right. So for me though, it's either going to be definitely either Ezekiel or Aaron. One of them has to die.
Yeah.
Both of them, and I'll tell you what, because both of them are leaders. But as we already discussed, Aaron is pretty much the Rick character in physical form. He looks like Rick. He has the issue with the missing hand and all that. He is that character. So, and remember, he's also a leader of Alexandria. That's what the role that he's playing now. So when everything is said and done, and they are running the Commonwealth, we know that is definitely going to happen. No surprise there. Everybody should know that. That's going to be the end goal. Who's going to run it? We definitely know that it's not Carol, because Carol and Daryl are leaving to do their adventuring. We know it's not Maggie, because I would have first say, oh, well, it's Maggie, because in the comic, yeah, it was Maggie. But no, Maggie's going off to do her own show with Negan. So who else is it? Who's left that has that experience that can pull it off? Well, that's Ezekiel, who had the kingdom, and now Aaron. So yes, we got Mr. Kool-Aid Smile Ezekiel, always happy no matter what's going on, and he also has his crew, and he seems to be working with some other group. Hasn't said if they're the Resistance, but remember, they're spreading the word about what's going on with the Commonwealth and the corruption. It's like, okay, why save him just to kill him? Unless he puts himself at risk to save Carol, who really doesn't want to be with him, just wants to permanently put him in the friend zone, even though he's in denial about it, and I still don't understand why she's putting him in that friend zone for so long. Makes no sense. This show, man. This show. Some of the things, they seem to focus heavy on certain things, and other parts, they just fall flat. And they definitely fall flat when it comes to a lot of how they want to portray these relationships between these characters. And it's not like, oh, well, they're teasing. They're not teasing anything here. When they had Carol said, don't even think about we're getting back together. We're not. And she walks away. And her acting was very cold. It wasn't like with a tongue-in-cheek or like, or with a little look back or none of that. They made it deliberate that she has no intentions of getting back with him. Just like we never see Daryl talking about, man, I need to go see what Connie's doing. Let me go find Connie at the newspaper. No, he don't care. He's too busy doing his own thing and raising his kids and Rick's kids. Well, none of them are his kids. He's raising both of Rick's kids, and no one else seems to care about that. Oh man, a lot of little holes in this. A lot of little holes, and it's like Swiss cheese. All these holes start adding up, and next you know, you start falling through the holes because you're like, all right, I don't even care. These things don't even make sense. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Oh man, let me see. What else did we not cover? So, and the Hornsby thing. So at the end of this episode, we see what happens. He takes over, right? He takes over Hilltop, and
he got shot in the mouth by Daryl.
No, I'm blanking on man. I'm blanking on the Hilltop and Alexandria. He took over both of them because now they had no soldiers. They had nobody there. So then we see they put up the banners. So again, where is he getting all these troops? Where are they coming from? I don't get it. But they're all there, and they take over, and also the beachfront. They took over the beachfront. They kicked everybody out, and so he's like all happy. He's like, "Look, I did it by force." It's like, okay, but that supposed to be the big surprise here? The big payoff for this episode? Because that's how they ended it, as if like, oh, look what we did, da-da-da-da, now he took over. Now what? Now our people are just roaming in the woods like they were in season 1. So I don't know. What you got anything to say about that, Rich?
Yeah, it doesn't really make any kind of sense. It feels as though there were a lot of things that they were doing. They kind of move a little bit too quick on. Like you had Carlson, and Carlson would have been an excellent henchman for Hornsby right now, like a little side henchman. But you decide we're going to take this guy out before any of that happens. So now it propels Hornsby into this position that he's in. Yeah, it doesn't make any kind of sense. And as I had said on this podcast before, I don't really find the character to be a menacing threat. I mean, I don't know why it's taking them so long to just take him out, but I kind of feel like his days are numbered. So, well, that's a character that should be on Carlos' list. He definitely will get killed.
Wait, what were we talking about?
Hornsby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about the protagonist. But,
but then again,
Hornsby's gone.
It doesn't even make any sense because it's like, okay, you have these groups now, these areas that you've taken over. Who's running them? You can't run them all. That was the whole point of having the relationship. So then now you can just integrate them without running them. He can't do it all. And even the governor had said, it's like, hey, just do what you have to do, but don't sidetrack from your main duties over at the Commonwealth. Well, now he's going to be the ruler of these other communities, but ruling under who? Because according to what we saw in those trailers, he's escorting everybody out into like slavery camps or something. Right?
Yeah, and it's funny, they did a Game of Thrones-esque, banner reveal when
yeah.
But and it's I wonder, like what you're saying, what the hell are they gonna do with all the people? And you notice they're escorting all the people off from their different factions, and I'm like, oh, don't recognize any of them.
No. These are all the extras. These are the walkers with the masks off. Now, that's it. So, but that's the thing. It's like, what do you need them for then? Because they all offered something. That was the whole thing. We had the beachfront side over there. Of course, obviously, they got the beach area. You have Alexandria that had the farmland. Hilltop also had some farmland and some other stuff. They sort of veered away from talking about it, but there was other services that they provided up there, and that's they had a trade system going on. They all worked together. So if you take all the people out and you put your banners up, for what? Your banners, there's no one there then. And who's running it? No one. So it's just running into the ground. There goes the farmland, there goes everything. And so you're going to bring all these people back to the Commonwealth to put them in that whole process, to the integration process, which makes no sense then, because these are people that are being brought in by force. They don't want to be there. As opposed to you were doing a screening process to vet people that don't want to be there, that could be trouble. You know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't add up. Unless you're going to go and line them up somewhere and shoot them all.
Yeah, I guess it just, it's... I wonder what the end goal is, and we still haven't gotten that clarification. What is Hornsby and the governor, like, what are they going to come in conflict? Are they in this together? I don't think they are, but, we don't get that much from the governor to know anything.
Yeah, and I think that's intentional. They want us to still wonder, is she going to agree with all of this, or is she going to be against it? We don't know where she stands, because we haven't seen her in any of those scenes. But,
and we know that she's cutthroat, but we don't know if she's a bad person.
Yeah. Like if she finds out that Hornsby has done all this with the Hilltop and Alexandria and pretty much hiring an assassin to try to kill Maggie, is she gonna look down on him, or is she gonna be like, well, you didn't finish the job. What's the plan now? Go get Mercer. That's what I think we're waiting for. And I'm sure that the common idea is that that's where we're going to see with this. That's the direction they're going to go in. It just makes sense that we have to have another big bad, right? If it's not just going to be Hornsby, who's the next one up? It's got to be her. And she's also the leader. And usually how these seasons work is the leader has to fall. So it's definitely not going to be Hornsby unless Hornsby kills her and says, all right, I'm in control now. I don't see that happening.
And also there's still the kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell was that? You know that scene that he was in with what's her name, Max?
Yeah.
What was that? Like, did he realize what she was doing, or is he trying to blackmail her?
He made it seem like he did, but then he didn't, and it just didn't make sense. Like, he's wondering what she was doing. It's like, well, what are you doing? She has a purpose there. She is the assistant. She's a receptionist, or pretty much the governor's assistant. She deals with all this stuff. So why would you even question what she's doing there? Question is, what are you doing there?
Well, he was acting. He was trying to get something.
Oh yeah.
But you noticed that he tried to get the like when he saw that document, he started acting differently.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he saw what those documents were or what, but
yeah. Well, unless he's all for. But as we saw, it was that was the headline for the papers. Like the Miltons are lying, and that got spread everywhere, and it's like, ugh. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see where it goes with this, but it didn't do it for me. That's the bottom line for this episode. This is not what I wanted. I wanted some more clarity with some of these characters. I wanted some suspense and just know, wow, what's gonna happen next. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get that feel. That's it. And I didn't get the payoff with Leah. Wanted more to it. There was nothing. It was just a bullet to the head. Done. There was no second guessing, and it was like, all right, let's go. We got her. Let's get out of here. All right.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, she ended up being really inconsequential.
Yeah.
She didn't kill anyone from the main group that was, that important. And she was a villain. She was an empty villain at the end of the day. But she was conflicted because, she was good with Daryl.
Well, you know what this reminds me of? And Rich will get this. Rich, this reminds me of the bounty hunter from Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Remember? Because he dies off, and then the writers, showrunners, they liked him so much that they came up with this side story. Oh, he has a twin brother. And his twin brother is here. But then the twin brother shows up and doesn't really do much. You think he's going to be part of the group. And you're like, oh, this makes sense. This is why you liked him. You're going to bring him part of the show. And then they're like, all right, you're going to come help us out? No, I need to go figure some things out on my own. And he just wanders off into the apocalypse. Who does that? That makes no sense whatsoever. Strength in numbers. And that's what this reminds me of. It's like they probably liked her and like, oh, we want to put you in some more scenes. You're already here in Georgia. Let's just do something. All right, we'll put you in this role. Well, what about the right? We don't have anything written for you. Don't worry about it. You're not really going to have many lines. We just want a presence. That's it. We just want you here. And that's it. So it could have been any Joe Schmo because that's the way they treated it. If they would have thrown a little more between with Daryl and Leah, at least something like a glance, a zoom in on their faces during that moment, a slow mo. It was like at least have Daryl's like trying to talk her out of it, talk her down, like stop this. We can work to stop it. You know what are you doing? Something. No,
that would have been a good scene. You imagine she's pointing her gun at Maggie, and Daryl, just shows up and he's like, hey, you don't want to do this right now. You don't want to do this right now. And like somehow like there's that tension point, and at the end of the day, they pan the shot at his face, taking the shot, and then him reacting to it.
I would have even accepted a very cheesy scene of seeing Dog just jump up and grab the gun from her arm, just start gnarling on her head. Like I would have loved that. Like let's say, think about it. And, I know you're laughing, but everybody listening to this, think about it. Imagine this. Close your eyes, everybody. Close your eyes. She's pointing the gun. Maggie is down on the ground. She's pointing at her head. Daryl comes in. He's with Dog. Don't ask why dog's there. Dog's there. And once Leah points the gun at Daryl, because she doesn't know, she's just pointing the gun because she hears the door open. The dog runs and just starts mauling on her because now he's taken a side, and his side is with Daryl, and he saw that his former owner is now threatening his current owner, who he prefers. I don't know. That's something. Just give me something. I felt like that was too abrupt. It shouldn't have happened that way. And then he just moved on. I'm like, yeah, that happened. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the way they decided to do it, and I wasn't a fan.
It wasn't a fan. Wasn't a
and
fan.
That's just how it goes.
All right, so let's just wrap this up. So, what did you think, Rich, overall, from what we've seen from this second mid-tier break, or they're calling it parts. So we'll just call it part 2 of the final season.
No, you're right. This show is pretty mid.
Right, that's it. It is mid, right? What did you think overall?
After watching this episode, I can't wait for this show to be over. That's my initial response, because it looked like it's a week. It has gotten weak as they have started to progress this season. So I'm not impressed, but hopefully the last 8 episodes bring something to the table.
Mm-hmm. And some, hopefully, which I mean we would think is a no-brainer, some returning cast members with Michonne and Rick. They have to.
Yeah,
they have
definitely Rick, because. Yeah, we know we've seen photos of Rick, so.
Right. We're definitely Rick and definitely Michonne, because Judith is not going to survive by herself, knowing that she's got Herschel got her back, and Herschel being, out of loony.
And that's the other thing. Who's watching these kids when Daryl's out trooping? Exactly, right? That's just whatever. Who knows? Oh, man. All right, so what about you, Carlos? From what we've seen so far for this second tier.
I felt like this mid-season started off in a bad note, because I felt like the beginning of this season should have been the end of the last one. The ending the Reapers and everything, essentially, because we started the premiere of the mid-season, and it was it was the climax of the Reaper saga. And I wish it would have been there. After that, it got better. There were some good things. Some of the Eugene stuff I liked, some I didn't. The thing with Maggie, can be kind of conflicting. Negan disappeared, and then came back, and then was a shell of himself. I don't know. I just felt like this season was. Or this mid-season was not really good. It wasn't better than the first one, and it wasn't better than the last season. And I'm with Rich. I really hope that these last 8 episodes they can return to some form of their previous glory. And it's going to be hard, because I just don't see how they can set up the chips in a way where I feel like they can be set up within an 8-episode time frame. If they're just going to keep going with the direction that they're going with the Hornsby stuff, then I don't know. I just don't see it, but I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, it needs to return back to what got itself to the dance, which was anything could happen. And that was the beauty of watching The Walking Dead, is that anything could happen. Your favorite characters could die off in the next episode. That's just the way it is. The unexpected should be expected, and that's not what we're getting here. This is just a run-of-the-mill. This might as well be a regular one of these novellas that you see. It's like, oh, they're running around in the forest. Oh, is this gonna happen? No, everything is fine. Yay. All right, more issues, and nothing changes. And here it is. Now we're going into the last episodes. It's only 8 more left, and I feel like everything's just going to be bunched together. If anything major happens, it's going to happen quick, when they could have just stretched it out.
The Oscars are more unpredictable than this show.
Right? Oh, yeah, because this is just the Leah and the way they're pushing everything with the Hornsby and the real slow approach. to the Commonwealth and the running around and trying to spread the word of corruption and all that, and still not really showing us the resistance fighters. And it's not like that. It's Ezekiel's group, because Ezekiel says he had some people to help, but he's never referred to them as that resistance group.
Yeah, we don't know if they're a separate faction.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know any of them. So too many little holes.
Well, here's the thing. This show, it had some good stuff. At the beginning, it was a crew that was just surviving. Anything could have taken them down. We didn't know who was going to die. Now, and then it became sort of political conflict with the first governor, Woodbury, and all that stuff, and then it went into an all-out war with a prison. We got the guns blazing, we got all that, and we kind of got that also with Negan, those two factions, and then we got sort of with this, like, all our favorite characters are sort of separated. Daryl and Maggie interact sometimes. Daryl and the Eugene group, I've never seen them together in probably years, and it seems like whenever they see each other, like
I think
we don't
saw
have
each other once at the Commonwealth, but yeah, we don't see scenes with them
they
together.
might have waited.
Yeah.
They might have waited to die, or but I wish we could see more scenes of sort of our favorite protagonist, interact, because if it does happen that Eugene dies,
The Doc's
then we-
sister hasn't been in an episode in a while.
Oh, by the way, no. Remember we were talking pre-show, and I said, "There's your favorite character hasn't been on this show since forever."
There you go.
What's the no? What's the name of the character
I'm
you
not
can't
saying
pronounce?
her name. I'm not going there. I'm not
She
going.
hasn't been on the
She
show.
has not.
Rich, unless you saw it different. I haven't seen her. Maybe she was in a corner somewhere drinking, a bottle of wine or something. I haven't seen her.
No, she's not a part of the storyline in any capacity, apparently.
No, it's all about her brother.
Her brother has been on the show more than her.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Yumiko.
Yeah.
And for those wondering, and I don't know where she is, and but yeah, we don't have the action that some of the previous seasons have, and we don't have the relationships, the interactions between our favorite
the
protagonist
suspense.
characters.
They ruined the suspense.
Or
by
the suspense.
telling us that all these characters have spin-off shows. Everyone's getting, you get a show, we're all getting shows. So then what's the point? And if they're going to do that, then they're pretty much saying they don't care. They just want to get this over with so they can move on to the other projects. And it's upsetting.
And Hornsby has it. Obviously, we still don't know yet, but if Hornsby ends up being the big bad, the end of the series bad, then that's going to be disappointing to me. I don't see how Hornsby can ever live up to Negan or the governor or anyone else.
Because right now, there's only two villains on this show, and that's Hornsby and Sebastian. That's it.
Yeah.
And we know they're working together. That we do know, with the whole thing with the robbing the house, the safe, and getting the money. He was aware of it. He's the one that okayed Sebastian to have the troops to go down there and to do what he was doing. So we know they're in cahoots. We know that the mother is not involved. Milton, the governor, is not involved in that because Sebastian said that his mom had cut him off. That was the whole reason why he was going over there to get money. And I'm sure some of that money also went to Hornsby, and he's probably paying some of these troopers on the side, like Carlson, probably gave him some money on the side to do those little side jobs.
Right.
So that way the governor doesn't know. All right, people. Well, thanks again. If you have your own thoughts, we're curious to hear it. Go ahead, put them down in the YouTube on the comments or over at the Koalition. We have a comment section there. You can go and spread your opinions or hit us up, Koalition, on Twitter or on Instagram. We have a lot going on there too. So just let us know, because this is disappointing. This is not how I wanted The Walking Dead to end. I figured it was just going to be chaos all the way to the bitter end, and that's not what we're getting here. We're getting more dragged out drama, a lot of filler for a show that's coming to the end. It should have no filler. Every scene should be important, impactful in some way, and we're not getting that. So we will be back. We have Fear the Walking Dead, which is crazy and anything could happen, and it's very exciting. If you have not been watching Fear throws all kinds of stuff. Like this past season, we had the nukes, we had radioactive walkers, and we had mutated walkers. It was nuts. People hiding in bunkers. It's crazy, and it's entertaining. There's some cheese in it, but overall it's fun, and they do a lot of different angles and storytelling. So it's not just a run of the mill of Walking Dead. Like, oh wow, it's just the same Walking Dead in a new area. No, they go in a different approach. So if you haven't, go ahead, watch that, and we will be covering that. That's coming back. What was it, Rich? Next week, right? Next week, I think it's next week. So that should be good. All right, people. Thanks again, and have a good week, everybody. Peace.
Peace.